let's roll. My people want their freedom back. So please take off that dumbass mask and smile at your neighbor. If all we need is love, then why you trying to be a hater? They try to say that I'm a racist, and then you run away and take a fucking hiatus. All 38 million people are waiting, and this guy's supposed to be the leader of a nation? Shit, my people want their freedom back. So please take off that dumbass mask and smile at your neighbor. If all we need is love, then why you trying to be a hater? They trying to say that this is hate speech and trying to take away our freedom. But the whole world is watching and everyone can see us, so we better speak up. Mr. Prime Minister, before you aim and shoot and label patriot Canadians racist and cruel, misogynistic and extremist too, you need to try to provide me with some proof, cause all I can see for miles in the streets is peace, love, and unity in every color and creed. And besides all the Cisco trucks, truthfully, you the only motherfucker in town who got beef. So disrespectfully, I would have to disagree and say that you're a liar, but hey, that's just me. Now on the count of three, everybody say with me, truck you Trudeau. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Truck you Trudeau. Okay, here we go. Truck you Trudeau. Like he's right here. Truck you Trudeau. Let's say it with authority this time and let them know. Let's go. Truck you Trudeau. Truck you Trudeau. Truck you Trudeau. This is for the fringe minority. Come on, here we go. Yo, my people don't agree with that. I think I got a trucker hat. Someone high-five your neighbor, cause what we need is love. Stop being such a hater. They trying to say that this is hate speech and trying to take away my freedom. But the whole world is watching and everyone can see us, so I better speak up. Hey yo, give me the microphone because my whole fucking country is under the microscope. And the whole world is watching, listening with the stethoscope. They got their eyes on their phones and their fingers on the pulse. Everybody wants to know how it's all gonna unfold. For the first time in 24 months, we got some hope. And Trudeau is so shook, it's like he just seen a ghost. You can hear his heartbeat from the east to the west coast. Shh, quarantining into Fino. How incredibly convenient. I speak for the people, and we will not condone with this tyranny and emo. No. If you're Canadian and proud, raise a fist to the clouds. Everyone together now, at the top of your motherfucking lungs, yell aloud. Truck you Trudeau. Truck you Trudeau. Truck you Trudeau. Remove the fucking mandate and let my people go. Truck you Trudeau. Let's go. Truck you Trudeau. Truck you Trudeau. If you can't take the heat, then don't stand by the stove. Truck you Trudeau. Truck you Trudeau. Let's go. Truck you Trudeau. 2022 Freedom Convoy. Let's roll. Woo! Yeah. Can you turn me up a little? Yo, thank you all so much.
Hey guys, how we doing?
I'm really cool with you guys.
Wait a second here. No, that's why. What the fuck? There's a part 2 that's only 4 minutes long. We're gonna play it. We're gonna play it.
Village in the house.
We're gonna finish it.
How you guys doing?
We're gonna finish
Thank you for having me. I'm more nervous to rap for you guys than I normally am for like a few thousand people. So I don't know what's going on, but we're here now.
Then we've got some really serious shit to talk about. So just because you're getting a fun opening here, don't stick to it.
You guys know me, so I don't got to give you my whole little intro. No, I'm good, bro. I'm sober, like 100 days. Thank you. I appreciate that, though. Jeremy, how we doing? All good? Golden? Golden, Holden. Okay. Yo, who's in the back? You guys don't want to hear some really good music? Come on up. Come on. There we go. Okay. Y'all know me. I got a couple tracks. Truck You Trudeau. I got a bunch of tracks. But so here's the thing. I'm really grateful and appreciative that everybody's bumping Truck You Trudeau. But I got a whole really dope. Well, I got a couple albums out, but there's one called Welcome to the Revolution on Spotify and Apple and everywhere. So go check, like when you get sick of Truckee Trudeau, which I'm sure you will eventually, go listen to Welcome to the Revolution, Volume 1. Volume 2 is coming out this summer. It's truth music. I'm a truth rapper, so I'm talking about what's going on. And it's like go give it to your kids. Go give it to your let's wake up the youth. Let's get the youth involved. So anyway, normally I would get the crowd. Normally I would draw them in with Truckee Trudeau, but you guys are already like, I don't got to draw you in. So I'm gonna hit you with the hard stuff first, and then we'll finish with Truckee Trudeau because it's a fun, it's just a little more fun. So this is When Will Enough Be Enough? I think some of you have heard it. Have you guys heard it? You heard it? Okay. Okay, when will enough be enough? Woo, this shit is loud. Do you want to come hear it, homie? Come on, bro. You're gonna fuck up my cadence doing that shit.
No.
I just want this louder. Can you turn it up a little bit?
Okay, where are you calling at? You're not showing up.
Welcome to the new world, divided by medical segregation. It's as if we travel back in time several generations. I can't even sit on a bus or take a train at the station, let alone get on the plane and try to take a vacation. I can't even take a shit in peace inside of a gas station without some son of a bitch harassing me, running up in my face and having the same conversation we just had the other day, because I wasn't wearing a mask and he felt some type of way. Then this jerk had the nerve to say, show me the piece of paper that states that I'm exempt from wearing a muscle over my muscle. Where the fuck do you get off asking to see my medical papers? You work in a Serpent station, that's ironically audacious. I don't have to show you shit, you must be high as a fucking spaceship. I'll take this opportunity to enlighten and educate you. Not only is that private and highly sensitive information, it's none of your fucking business, you entitled ignoramus. 2 weeks to flatten the curve, to show me your papers over the drastic turn of events that have taken place in 18 months. When you gonna wake up? Look at the shit they're getting away with. It's crazy as fuck. 9/10 of the population is taking it up the butt, getting raped like a slut with their mouths taped shut. When will enough be? COVID is a hoax, and if you disagree, fuck you, the WHO and the CDC. Stop watching Fox News and CBC and stop believing all the stupid shit you see on TV. Because stupidity's the virus killing you and me. And all joke, oh, dog.
I forgot about that. Okay, that's good. We're done. We're gonna leave it at that. We're gonna leave it at that. It's a sign. Okay, how y'all doing? Hope y'all are having a good night, man. That looks trippy with that orange wall back there. I'm not used to this. I hope y'all are having a good night. What a day it's been. And I don't even mean that in a bad way. It's just, am I the only one whose stomach feels like it's Christmas Eve? And good evening to everybody that I missed at the top there. I wanted to get some of them going there. That's Six Trey, man. That's Holden Noel. He's from Moose Jaw. We had the honor of traveling with him for a couple months there right after the convoy. He is a sober Christian man, a young father. I've been trying to find. I did an interview so that video was shot at the Delta base camp that I shouldn't say we. I wasn't there for most of it. That they installed in Delta, down in BC, close to the ferry there, and it was quite the spot. Like, you had 3 big military tents that were probably at least 50 feet long. So you had a kitchen, a sleeping area with like 10 beds, and then you had a full dining room table that, man, you probably fit 40 people there. And everything was under shelter, porta potties there, and it was a good time. It was not long after the convoy. We had that vibe up. It was a little weird time for me because obviously I had gone out there for my son, and abruptly I wasn't able to see him. So, and I've had quite a few people ask to speak, and it's not something I mind talking about. I feel like everybody's been here since the journey, since I found out about him anyways. So I mean, and as many of you know, I found out his mother passed about a month ago. There, it was not even. It was yeah, it'd be just about a month. But no updates. No updates yet. So hopefully, I never met her parents, so tricky situation. But I know he's safe. He's with the grandparents, and it's probably the best place for him. So moving forward, some things happened yesterday within the last. Well, not yesterday. Some things happened within the last 24 hours. Some things happened this week too. Look at this 23 people on here. I know you guys see less because you're only seeing the platform you're on, man. And then today, so I'm gonna rant here for a second before we get into anything, because I'm frustrated. Uh, they took my profile that I've been working my ass off since my birthday, since the day we came up here for Gloria on March 11th. I've been working that profile. When I was here, when you know who started rolling out her nonsense, our post reach was about to pass 500,000. We were on the, and we were gaining like, and when I say we, I'm talking about our team. Everybody's a part of that. I would like, that's why I always considered it our algorithm. It's our platform. You know, if one of them finds something that it's not mine, it's ours. This is a team effort here. No matter what someone's role is in it, it could be someone like Andrew who's right there involved. It could be somebody like Robin who's the reason we're here because he's with the dogs. And Gaia went on a little vacation today. We love you guys too. Al. We love you guys too. Gaia and the pups are doing so well. Actually, I have a picture here. We'll bring it up. We'll bring up a picture. Who doesn't want to see a puppy picture? Who doesn't want to see a puppy picture? Nobody I want to be friends with. And yeah, there's your train of thought, Jeremy. That's good. There it is. So yeah, we were at 500,000, man. We were climbing. We were climbing. And then it all went crashing down. Coincidentally, when my life turned upside down in the summer, in July, when my roommate and awesome person in my life, and the Wolverine and fucking Save the Children nonsense, tried to pin some stickers on me. $5,000 worth of stickers they tried to pin on me, which I caught them in the act of lying about. When that all happened, I was at a 2 million post reach. It's funny how that works. It's funny when your voice becomes a threat, how quickly things can turn. Um, it's wild. You know, when the dust settles from these things, we're in groups of people chatting and talking. It's mind blowing. I can't wait to. I can't wait till this is all done and over with. We can actually roll this shit out for people to understand. And you know what, folks? I don't think that's going to be too far away. Let me bring this over here. How am I going to do that? How am I going to do that? Sorry, I'm used to having two screens. Isn't it crazy how you get used to something? And then you're just screwed. Yeah, how am I going to get that up there? I know how. Sorry, guys. This is not a scripted show by any means tonight, but I do have some very important stuff to go over once I show you this meaningless puppy picture. I'm tired. And I don't mean today. Y'all must be tired. Anybody who's been out there fighting this, you got to be tired. I don't know how you wouldn't be, especially people with kids, stuff. I'm sick of living this way, man. It's time. It's time. And we can only. We're gonna hit a point, which I think we have, and I'm gonna show you why. We're gonna hit a point here where we're only hurting ourselves by letting it drag on. Not even just in the manner of more people are affected, but less energy, less resources. It's really anybody who's played sports or even not sports, the game of chess, whatever it may be, running. I was a sprinter in my young age, and then I started doing like the 800 meter and the 600 meter, 1600 meter. And the coach would always be like, "Jeremy, you can't sprint the 1600 meter." Like, yes, I can. What? But then I'd screw myself. We're nearing some dark times here, folks, and I don't mean dark as in it's going to be all bad, but we got to come to terms with some things here, and I'm going to lay them out for you here this evening. I hope that I'm sure that many will agree that it's quite obvious that they are playing their hand. They are playing multiple hands. In fact, they're playing pretty much every hand they have, except for the iron hand. And when I say they, I mean the elites who are against us. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that puppy puddle. Can't get enough of it. I can't wait. It's been really hard. Like, I know there is people because I see them write stupid shit, which they think I care about, but I don't. Even if I do for a second, it's gone 10 seconds later. I know there's people that think I'm just up here enjoying life. Like, that's Stefan, man. I haven't left the couch on my computer. He's gonna bug me to get me to go for a walk some days. Because to me, time away from the dogs is just focus. There was even a couple days where I wasn't answering my phone. Yeah. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. And how are you going to do this again, Jeremy? Because that's on Telegram too. See, I usually use Telegram to play all my shit because it's the best. Right. Okay, Jeremy's just going to have to kill some time for you guys. That's all right. It'll only take a minute. I'll just have to send them in Messenger. My bad. Can you tell that I've been, so probably since about 3 p.m., I haven't got 5 minutes off the phone, or else I wouldn't be fumbling around like this on you guys. So I do apologize. I hate when things go like this, but it is what it is, man. And, we got 20 some people on here. It's crazy how they can just, there we go. That was fast. That was real fast. All right. This was in Calgary last night for anybody who did not see. Calgary, Alberta. There's children. They're begging them to stop.
There's no riot here! Why the alternative?
Little girl. So there's one. There's one. We've got more. We've got more. That wasn't all. That was not all in the last 24 hours. Did anybody not know about that? I think most people probably did, but at the same time, I didn't see it many places today. That was by Mocha Berzergan, by the way, that young fella out of Alberta who does a hell of a job. He went to visit Kirk Reese as well on his boat there. So there's another one here. We're going to bring this up. This is from Paris. This is from Paris, where they used heavy machinery to vacate human bodies. Yeah. That's what we're getting to here as we approach the WHO Treaty, Bill C-53, UNDRIP, which, if you don't know how they tie together, we're going to tie them together here after this. So this is in Paris. That is the police. And that is humans, women. We are peaceful, what are you? So it's Paris. Paris and Calgary. Shara, what they were saying was, we are peaceful, what are you? That's what they're chanting, which makes perfect sense. So let's just piece some things together. Let's explain these three, and then we'll do our little chat. The United Nations Declaration on the Rights of the Indigenous Peoples Act is a comprehensive international instrument that outlines the rights of Indigenous peoples and the obligations of states to protect those rights. It was adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 2007, and Canada, after initially voting against it, officially endorsed it in 2010 and took further steps towards its implementation in subsequent years. 2010, that's who? That's Stephen Harper. Who's Stephen Harper's apprentice? Pierre Poilievre. Okay, we're catching on. Cool. So why would you vote for him? Right. And for like these people that are like, oh, well, what's the other option? If you're willing to settle after you know that they just genocided 20 million people through a shot, you should not have children. If you are willing to settle for another government to possibly do that to your children, you should not have children. I will fucking back that statement any day. If you are not willing to stand and give it all for your children, after living through something quite recently, then shut up and get the fuck out of the way, and excuse my language. But we are days away from something happening in this country, happening around this world. And we got people still talking about tax. Tomorrow we're going to Montreal to see the Jews and the Palestinians. We're going to continue trying to bring all nations together, not just the First Nations, all nations under peace, because they're just like us, and they've been indoctrinated just like us, and they've been infiltrated just like us. It's very important that people understand that. Because you want my honest opinion? 10 days until this country's shut down. 10 days until this country's shut down, at the most. At the most. UNDRIP is significant for Indigenous peoples in Canada as it recognizes their basic rights, including the right to self-determination, the right to maintain and strengthen their distinct political, legal, economic, social, and cultural institutions, and the right to participate fully, if they choose, in the political, economic, social, and cultural life of the state. It also addresses issues such as land rights, education, employment, health, and cultural heritage. No, it doesn't. While UNDRIP is generally seen as a positive step towards recognizing and protecting the rights of Indigenous peoples, which we know is a fraudulent word, right? I'm Indigenous to this land. I was born in New Brunswick. I'm Indigenous to this land. They are First Nations. They are Indians. Ask them yourself, the ones that know. They would not like you to call them Indigenous. While UNDRIP is generally seen as a positive step towards recognizing and protecting the rights of Indigenous peoples, there are some concerns and potential downsides that have been discussed. There's more than some. Number one, the implementation challenges. The implementation of UNDRIP can be complex and challenging because it may require significant changes to existing laws, policies, and practices. This can lead to resistance from various sectors, including government, industry, and non-Indigenous communities. The principles of free, prior, and informed consent can be particularly challenging to interpret and apply in the context of resource development and land use decisions. Number two, economic concerns. Some critics argue that UNDRIP could hinder economic development by creating additional layers of regulation and uncertainty around land use and resource development. They fear this could deter investment and economic activities in areas where Indigenous lands' rights are asserted. Huh, you don't say. They're after the land, folks. They're after the land. They're after the land. Industries that rely on resource extraction might be concerned about the increased leverage and negotiation power of Indigenous communities regarding proposed projects on their traditional lands. Number three, sovereignty and jurisdiction issues. Some Indigenous Canadians may feel that UNDRIP's recognition of Indigenous self-determination undermines national sovereignty and the authority of the Canadian government. There may be jurisdictional disputes between federal, provincial, territorial, and Indigenous governments over how to interpret and apply the provisions of UNDRIP within the Canadian legal and constitutional framework. Number four, varying interpretations. UNDRIP, excuse me, UNDRIP is a set of principles and guidelines rather than a legally binding document, leading to various interpretations of its articles by different stakeholders. There could be disagreements over the meaning of certain articles, such as those related to land rights, which could lead to legal uncertainties and disputes. Number five, and every few minutes I'll come back here, folks. But yeah, please share. We're going to go through UNDRIP. We're not going to read Bill C-53 through and through, but you're going to know what the hell it means. And then we've got a really important one at the back here. If I can get it close, I won't pick it up. That's the Indian Act. That's the Indian Act. And between the Palestinians, as you can see on the screen there, Palestinians, the Jews, the two are wampum, the Thunderbird, and these things that we're reading here right now. This is our life right now. Your life dangles. These are all the entities right here. And don't forget the Crown Corporation. Don't forget the Crown Corporation. Number four, we're on number five, sorry. Expectation management. The adoption and implementation of UNDRIP may raise expectations among Indigenous communities for changes that are difficult to achieve in the short term, potentially leading to frustration and disillusionment. I should add, too, that we're live on Jeremy Psyop Gibson because Facebook's just screwing us. So if everybody could also go follow White Serpent Media, that's probably going to be our go-to now. I don't know. I'm so done with Facebook. We're also on YouTube, Twitch, X, and Rumble. Those are our big boys. I suggest you all start using X and Rumble. I've been saying it for a few months. I can tell you one thing. I almost deleted all my accounts 2 days ago on Facebook. The only reason I didn't is because it goes against what I do, trying to get as much truth out everywhere. But the days of me responding to comments and posting my personal, I'm pretty over it, man. I'm pretty over it. The amount of work I spend on those profiles for them to just take it away over nothing, and then they gave it back today and took it away. And you can see the difference. I made a post, and within 20 minutes, it had more likes than any other post has this week on these other profiles. So if you don't think it's affecting what we're doing here, it's affecting what we're doing. It's literally taking our numbers to 20%. And as somebody who literally eats, sleeps, and breathes this, it's a fucking kick in the nuts at such a crucial time. So, yeah, you can tell that's bitter. I'm bitter. Political and public resistance. There might be resistance from certain political groups or segments of the public who oppose the changes required to fully implement UNDRIP, fearing that it could lead to preferential treatment of Indigenous peoples or challenge the status quo. Whoa. Sorry. The adoption of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples into a domestic legal framework can influence case law in various ways. Here's how UNDRIP's adoption could interact with case law in a country like Canada. Number one, interpretive tool. Courts may use UNDRIP as an interpretive tool when considering cases related to Indigenous rights. Although UNDRIP itself is not legally binding, it reflects international human rights standards that can guide judges in interpreting domestic laws and the Constitution. This means that UNDRIP can inform the judicial understanding of Indigenous rights, which are fraudulent rights, not Indian rights, and may lead to more expansive interpretations that align with international norms, like if everybody signed a WHO treaty. Legal argumentation. Lawyers representing Indigenous clients may reference UNDRIP to support their arguments in court. They might argue that domestic laws and policies should be consistent with the principles outlined in UNDRIP, particularly regarding self-determination, land rights, and free, prior, and informed consent. Number three, legislative change. If UNDRIP is adopted into national legislation, as in the case of Canada's Bill C-15, which just passed in Quebec, which aims to ensure the law. Oh, yeah, sorry, two different bills. Bill 15 just passed, right? Still, both a big deal. Which aims to ensure the laws of Canada are in harmony with UNDRIP, it becomes part of the domestic legal landscape. This means that subsequent case law will have to take the provisions of UNDRIP into account when adjudicating matters related to Indigenous rights. Precedent setting. Number four. As courts make rulings on cases involving Indigenous rights post UNDRIP adoption, these decisions will set precedents for future cases. Over time, this can lead to a body of case law that progressively incorporates UNDRIP principles into the interpretation and application of domestic law. Do people understand how they change the law now? If you didn't, I hope you are right now. Number five, legal clarity or uncertainty. The adoption of UNDRIP could either clarify or complicate legal issues concerning Indigenous rights. On one hand, it could provide a clear framework for the recognition and enforcement of these rights. On the other hand, it could result in legal uncertainty if domestic laws are not fully aligned with UNDRIP or if there is resistance to its implementation. Oh, and there will be. Potential conflicts. 6. There may be cases where existing case law or statutory law conflicts with the principles outlined in UNDRIP. In such situations, courts will need to reconcile these differences, which may lead to legal challenges and even amendments to current laws to ensure consistency with UNDRIP. Yeah, so you can't sustain it. I'm just going to put that on the screen so everybody can see what we're talking about. Imminent. Shutdown. Imminent. Bet my life on it. Also, one of our closest people, they're doing training right now for lockdown at the hospital they work at. Fact. International influence. The adoption of UNDRIP may also encourage courts to look at case law from other jurisdictions that have considered UNDRIP in their decisions. This cross-pollination of legal ideas can enrich domestic jurisprudence on Indigenous rights. In Canada, the Supreme Court has already acknowledged and used international instruments to inform its decisions on Indigenous rights before the formal adoption of UNDRIP, with UNDRIP's principles being more formally recognized in Canadian law through legislation like Bill C-15. Its influence on case law will likely grow, shaping the country's legal landscape concerning Indigenous peoples' rights. The United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples is generally seen as a positive step toward recognizing and upholding the rights of Indigenous peoples worldwide. However, there can be concerns and criticisms from various groups, including some non-Indigenous people, such as farmers or other Canadian citizens. Here are some ways UNDRIP could be perceived negatively. Number 1, sovereignty concerns. Some individuals may view UNDRIP as an intrusion on national sovereignty. Well, that's because it is. To put it plain and simply, UNDRIP will make the entire land a reserve. Plain and simple. They might believe that the adoption of an international framework like UNDRIP could allow international organizations to influence or dictate domestic policies, undermining the country's ability to make decisions independently. Oh, and imagine if you had like WHO pandemic treaty right aligned with it. Number 2, fear of land claims. Farmers and landowners might worry that UNDRIP's emphasis on Indigenous peoples' rights to their traditional lands, and we can eliminate that with education. 5 minutes of education, and that can be gone. Because the farmer's Indigenous. More than likely, he's born in Canada. He's Indigenous. And if we can educate that farmer on the fact that he's Indigenous and this First Nations man is not, well, then we've got a party. Time to get on board, folks. Please, we're begging you. There's many people across the country doing the same thing. No, we're not out protesting. No, we're not convoying. But we will be standing very soon in unison with educated people knowing their rights, with things to stand on. And I'm not saying other people are not educated, so don't take that the wrong way. But I'm saying that the head of the snake has its mouth like this, and it's literally almost over top of us. And people are trying to play with the tail. It's exactly what is happening right now. So I suggest you get on board with learning, with coming with us to try to get people. And yes, it's spiritual, and God has a lot to play with it, Creator has a lot to play with it, but doing nothing, that's not the ways of God or the Creator. Sitting back and waiting for Creator to just figure things out, no, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Awfully entitled of you to think that way, if that's how you were to think. Just sit back and no. We are faced with an opportunity here, folks, that if we do not take, I don't think everybody gets the fact that by Christmas, and I couldn't be more serious when I say by Christmas, because the second they have that treaty signed, do you see what happened yesterday in the US? 2 new variants. Great timing, eh? 2 new variants. We have a peaceful revolution, Joan. It's built on fact. It's built on truth. There's binders full of it. There's documents. There's confederacies that are still in place because these ones are all signed under maritime law not the law of the land. These are fraudulent documents. And people might say, oh, well, they stand up, they hold up. They hold up because we allow them to hold up. If anybody wants to know how anything has happened, it's our fault. So we can all suck it the fuck up. We can all admit that we were lied to. Or we can be butthurt about it and ignorant and allow very bad things to happen. And I don't like to say things like this, but like if you choose to sit back and enter this digital prison with your children, you will wish they were dead. And I do not say that lightly. You will wish they were dead. If you do not grasp the severity of how close we are to this and how big this is and how evil it is, them coming to your house and force vaccinating your kid is a walk in the park compared to what they do. Well, I don't, Joan, and I don't wish that you were dead either. What can I do? Said 1 out of 7 billion people. We're out of time. So, and you know what? I'm just going to post these documents in individual posts because I can't read all this shit. We don't have the time. I don't have the brain capacity because I got to go back on the phone for another God knows what. And that's fine. I loved it. I love it. But what I don't love is watching ego and bullshit determine the lives of people's children. And there's a lot of fucking people who bought into this shit. There's a lot of people who, in the movement, who continue to buy into the shit. There's a lot who just did it. Do you know how many people just showed us their true colors? There's people persistently still trying to drag me through the mud. Meanwhile, we've been up here and back twice, doing our thing. What are these people doing? Bitching, 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 while you are 10 days away from lockdown. Guaranteed, man. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. There's so many things, too. There's events going on across the country. A ton of them. Look at the posters. There's symbolism all over them. I never for once thought that 2 and a bit years after we left Ottawa, we'd have to fucking hold people's hand to see what is right in front of them. And I did not plan on coming on here like this, but I am so sick of explaining things that we've repeated and repeated and repeated and repeated and repeated. It's one thing to fucking listen, but if you shut it off right there and just wait for me to come yap and curse and get all revved up again, you're not learning anything. You're just watching for entertainment. Like, this stuff is all public access. If you can't get it, I will do it for you. If you don't have a printer, we'll figure it out. Send $5 for stamps and we'll fucking ship them off. And the paper. Do people not get that Agenda 2030 is no longer Agenda 2030? That's a Sustainable Development Goals. They bumped that shit up when we shut the world down in Ottawa. When we woke up the fucking world for a month, they sped some shit up. And all you gotta do is take a look around the world news for an hour, not on the mainstream, to realize why. Because the people, we started it. And we've barely done a thing since other than picnics. And axe attacks, like it's great. It's great to see people coming together, but like you can't block a provincial highway. There's the Critical Infrastructure Act. You're literally like that's why Danielle Smith had all those fucking cops there on day 2 in Alberta. No, we're not doing this. There's an act in place. That's not Trudeau. Jason Kenney put that bill in. And I still see people bitching on these videos saying, oh, Trudeau's goons. People don't even know. So what are you going to do about it if you don't fucking know? And it's fine not to know. But are you doing something about it? Because I'm going to tell you something. Many of us are. And I don't mean that in a radical way. I don't mean that in a violent way. We are going to stand peacefully within the real law, with documents, with people, with spirit, with creator. We're going to stand as one. These flags. This 2-row, man. Oh, you guys can't see. I got the thing on there. You got the 2-row on there anyways, Jeremy. We're going downtown Montreal tomorrow. We're going to try to see eye to eye with these Jews and Palestinians because a lot of them are just like us. A lot of them are just like us. And it's a shame that we're so late. I shouldn't say it's so late. It's a shame that we have such little time. A couple other things, like you guys want more. They just signed Haida 3 weeks ago onto an Aboriginal title. They were the only sovereign nation, only place never signed a treaty with the Commonwealth. Not a big deal or anything. But now they just signed an Aboriginal title because somehow, over decades and decades, people have made them believe that they weren't sovereign. So the final place where UNDRIP is needed, now they've got all the farmers bankrupt. They can literally do whatever they want to the farmers. People don't get it. Oh, well, what do we do? Like I said, the pandemic was a test, and most failed. And that's why they know they can succeed with this because the people are divided. Even our own people are divided. It's crazy. Like figure. No, we're not going to do that tonight. Fired up, man. I can't. I'm not saying this for pity. I'm saying this because I know there's so many out there because I'm talking to them every fucking day. I cannot do this much longer. I am not sure after this if I will ever have a normal anything. I'm okay with that as long as the fucking kids do. You're gonna have to get uncomfortable because what they have coming is far worse than fucking uncomfortable. And excuse the swearing tonight. I know there's a lot, but I'm fired up and I fully believe that within 10 days we will be on a line somewhere. At the very least. He literally just militarized a police, gave the military police authority. They're out doing wellness checks. There's like triple the activity at every base. Talk to people across the country. We were down here this week. We Just put it up for a picture. This 2-row. We were escorted off the property 20 seconds later. It's a flag of peace. But yet, this Libertarian Party, well, they were down there set right up. And I'm not saying they're not peaceful, because they're peaceful people. But they're definitely not rooted as peaceful as the 2 or 1 pump mitts. That's for sure. But that's a prime example, you know. I think I think it may have been a blessing in disguise that we got busy yesterday. I think it was awfully convenient that I was sent that live about this, where people knew I was. Like I said, when we did a drive-by, there was 4 people down there, man. And it's a lot of corruption. And found out some things, not about those people directly, but everything's been infiltrated, folks. Every group. And I'm not talking the freedom movement, I'm talking the fucking world. Everything good has been infiltrated. That is why all nations, all creeds, all races must come together. And don't think that, the natives, for instance, they'll be the first ones to say how indoctrinated their people are. But are there people, evil people? No. They just believe what they were taught, unless they pursued the knowledge elsewhere. They're not bad people. There are some who are well aware of that they're doing, just like everything. But see, when the people come together, say there's 3 groups, and 2 groups come together, all the people. There's just a couple leaders of those groups, the ones who were actually pulling the strings, left. Well, that 3rd group, what do you think they're going to do? That 3rd group is going to have more people leave than those other 2 groups. Why? It's pack mentality. People are cowards. Very few will make the step first. But once these steps begin to be made, we're going to be putting, see these? Bunch of little ones here everywhere. And then we still got to print out like probably, packs of paper here. Probably going to need 3 of them. And then we're going to have these binders ready in about a week. And I don't know if it's going to be me. I don't know who it's going to be. Somebody's going west. Because we need to go to Haida Gwaii. That's not going to change these people who threaten me in Alberta. Yeah, some of your leaders told me that I'd die if I crossed that border. So be careful who you're watching. Figure it the fuck out, folks. Figure it the fuck out. If all the parties are together, they're not conservatives or liberals. No, they're fucking UN. They're UN. Stop saying, oh, so-and-so's this, so-and-so's this. If they are against the Canadian citizen, they are for the United Nations world. That's all there is to it. Because there's a few different entities against the people in Canada here, and I'm pretty convinced that a few of them don't even know that they're on the same side. It's quite comical. It's the only funny thing out of it, is watching ones that work for the same people think that they don't. But, you know, like we say with this Bill 53, an act respecting the recognition of certain Métis governments in Alberta, Ontario, and Saskatchewan to give effect to treaties with those governments and to make consequential amendments to other acts. The Métis are not Indians. They are half. That is not me being rude. That is me stating a fact. That's what makes them Métis. That's why how that nation was formed. So how can they put rights and create a whole bill on it if they don't have the rights to begin with? No, they're using it to take all of the rights for good. Get it now? I'm going to show you something. There's no Métis over here. The Métis come from the Cree in the prairies. Blue Riel. I'm going to show you something. I'll show you how this Asman shit works. Show you how they infiltrate. Show you how they sway people. I just got so many bookmarks. I gotta find where it's at. There we go. There we go. And excuse my language, but what the fuck is this? La Nation Métis de Québec. There's no fucking such thing. I'll prove it. I'll prove it to you in a sec here after we take a little look at it. I'll tell you what it is. What this is how they give people these fake cards. This is how they create a lie and sell it. Because there are non-Métis people being given a Métis status card. It is happening, Tracy. It has been happening for a while. And that is why there are so very few First Nations standing in the East. And those are not my words. Those are theirs. We are literally removing the veil on everything. Oh, sorry, Tracy. My bad. My bad. I mean, I know what you mean now. It can't happen. I get it. We can't let that happen. My bad. Is this not insanity? Yeah, the people do not have a contract with them, therefore it is not void. And I'll show you that. Look at this. We'll go to the same page here. View tab. And we'll ask our brave AI, are Métis a recognized nation in Quebec government? The recognition of the Métis as a nation in the Quebec government is a complex and contentious issue. When they start with that, that means, well, we don't want to break it to you. While the Métis are recognized as Indigenous people, a fraud, in Canada, their status as a nation is not universally recognized by the Quebec government. So the answer is no. The Quebec government does not recognize the existence of Métis communities in the province. And the Métis National Council, which is the national organization that represents the Métis people, is not recognized as a representative organization in Quebec. Everybody understanding how serious this is now? Everybody understanding how easily the freedom movement could be infiltrated, like we said? I'm still going to sit here and say that I've never sat here and just said anything. If I theorize, you dedicated folks know that I say, okay, it's time to theorize. I state that loudly and proudly every time so people know. So these motherfuckers, excuse me, but this one hurt. They all hurt, but this one really fucking hurt because I haven't even. Probably gonna make me sound bad, but it's just how numb I am. These people have made me so numb, I don't even think about the death of my son's mom. I just do this. Now, if you don't want that for your kids, because trust me, what they're gonna have to fight is way worse than what we have been. But that's something I realized the other day. And I still, since I realized it, haven't taken 1 second to think about it. And that right there is enough for me to give it all. Because I never want, ever want my son to go through the shit that I had to just to do what was right in Canada. Something's going to happen. There will be a stand. I don't know when. I know there's a big strike happening at the end of the week next week. And no, I respect my fucking whistleblower, so I'm not going to tell you who it is, but you can probably find it. It's going to affect the whole country. They moved May 2-4 long weekend up a week this year. It's next weekend, not the 2-4. It's go time. Yeah, I'm at a loss for words here now. I'm gonna roll these posts out. People really got to get on X, man. Not even just the censorship, but for me to post this, Bill, on Facebook, it'll take me 3 times as long as it would on Twitter. It'll look like shit compared to it. I just don't. We're trying to combat insanity while we promote insanity. We know Facebook's fucked. We know it's not free. We know it silences everything. Yet we all still use it. The only reason I use it because you guys all use it. When you guys are ready, let's get the fuck out of here. That's why I've been on the StreamYard for months. We're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're just in the first week back with the rebuild. I'm signing us up for Brighteon, Patreon. We're gonna be everywhere. That's what we do. Spread the truth. It is on Rumble. We are on Rumble right now. We are on Rumble right now. Here, I'll put all the links in here after. We've got the link tree as well. Here, I'll show you guys this link. For anybody who doesn't know what a link tree is, buckle up. I'll show you something. We'll show you something. Because for all you people who aren't so techie, this is your best friend. So when I say you can follow all our links on the link tree, so you put that link in, and it's going to bring up this. And this is how easy this is. See how this? You can use these guys at the top if you know what the symbols are, or you can go sign up. So that's email. You can sign up. You put your stuff in. I take care of the rest. This is a little fucky because Facebook's been fucking us, but they're all there. Facebook profile. Which one's this? That's the one. It's not going to take us to anything right now. We put that one, I don't think. Oh, yeah. Well, look at that. Boom. Done. What's this one? Oh, that's suspended. This is a backup. Boom. Done. What else you want? You want X? Here you go. Boom. Done. You know, there's a reason I try to make this as simple as possible for people. So you all don't have to figure it out. So the least that people can do is just go through the motions, you know? And I know many do. It's one click. It's one click. And you can subscribe up at the top here. So anytime I make a change on here, it tells you. You know, we have the ability to make things simple. And I'm trying. But I'm only one guy. I got 7 puppies at home that I barely spend any time with. I've had to make sure that other people give up their lives to spend time with. I'm not doing that. I'm not saying it for acknowledgement. Saying that how much do people need to give up for people to realize that, hey, maybe taking a week off work ain't that bad for the rest of my life, my kids' future. So I don't know, folks. Like your jobs, something like that. Your jobs take your AI is good to take your job, unless you are a tradesman and a good one, because most of the trades can be done by robots now as well. People don't get it. They don't get how close we are. So I'm going to tell you, you're possibly weeks away from I'm probably going to say a couple months away from a digital prison, but you are weeks away, if that. I would say 10 days. That's my guess. What's today? Today's the 10th, the 20th. I would say that by the 20th, shit will be hitting the fan. And don't take this. See, another prime example. This is the last thing I'm going to touch on. I just had to stop what I was saying, not because what I was going to say was wrong, but because people do not take the time to listen. I was going to say all these immigrants they brought in here that are of age, the 20 to 35, and then people will be like, oh, lots of immigrants built this country. We're talking about the illegal immigrants. The ones they've been sweeping in, the people, oh, yeah, that's not happening. There's hotels fucking full of them. New York and Chicago are barely surviving. And have been for almost like 8-9 months. 15 million Biden has let in. 15 million. A quarter of Canada has been let into the United States illegally. And the taxpayers are paying to support them. Trudeau wants 100 million people in Canada. Like, there's a solid group of folks on here. I know most of you do get it. So please don't think it's directed at any of you. But please, guys, please. I'm not one to, yeah, I put it in the caption, but like for me to sit here and say, please share, please share, please share, that's not my thing. But you're going to hear a lot of it this week. And I can tell you also that after this, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And if we fail this, we probably won't willingly be going home anyways, because who knows what the fucking draconian state, or if we're arrested or alive or what. But if we do not stop this now, you're not going to want to live. That's all there is to it. You're certainly not going to want your. You're not even going to want to think. Adrenochrome is very real. We're not going to go into that, but like when I say them vaccinating your kids forcibly is a walk in the park, it is. It's time we stop acting like a bunch of fucking pussies. And I know some people aren't going to like me saying that, but we're not cowards. I've seen people stand that aren't now. So they're not cowards. I don't know what it is. I don't know. But I know that I can't do this anymore tonight. The guy from Who is a wanted man for crimes against humanity. Wanted by who, though? Until the people uphold their constitutions, they're going to do whatever they want. Need an action before reaction. And with that, we're out of here. 201 Pum. Go and look it up if you didn't see it when we discussed it. You know, have some bedtime knowledge. Everybody's got a phone or something, or else you wouldn't be on here listening to me anyways. Bill C-53, the Indian Act, UNDRIP, great places to start. If you're in Quebec, Bill 15 was just passed. Kind of a big deal. If you're First Nations, if you're Métis, if you just know them, maybe go show them the Quebec Métis Nation that's non-existent, that is giving people fake status cards. Because it's not the problem that the giving of the fake status cards is a big problem, but they're doing it because they're radicalizing those people to control. Like those are your. Don't say it, Jeremy. Don't say it. Those are your BBs. Let's just leave it at that. Those are your BBs. Those are your BBs. Love y'all. Have a good night, folks. What if you are a full-blood day? We get it. Marnie, you get it? You get it. There was somebody, that's all I'm going to say, when they had the Thunderbird flag in Ottawa, somebody called the cops on them. Figure out who that is. You'll figure out a lot of things. Bye.